doesn't need to
How
be,
many
man.
people just happen to drop
We
in?
slap it up on our channels. That's where they go to find us. They don't go on a Google Hangout to find us. They go to our channels now. And everybody, and like I literally, every one of my subscribers was unsubscribed.
Huh.
The only reason I've got 7,000 subscribers now is in this backup channel is because I have such a dedicated core following that just like will look for me every day. And otherwise I would have I would be dead in the water, baby.
Well, we are live on a Google Hangout live broadcast. Planet X investigators, Steve Olson, Jeff P., and myself, Scott from the NIBIRU channel. And we're going to consider this an urgent news update because we've all collaborated. We have a lot of information to bring everyone, and we are just going to get right down to it. Whichever one of you guys wants to start first, you can go right ahead.
Go ahead, Steve. I'm just kind of listening on this one.
All right, no problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up the screen. This is what we've been looking at for the last couple of days. Scott, you and I looked at this together on the air as well. I mean, but I'll remind everybody or share with everybody what we're seeing here. So this is one of the really neat instruments that we have that shows us magnetic field lines and density of plasma in and around the sun. So usually what happens is coronal ejections come off the sun, and they'll usually follow magnetic field lines as their primary, kind of channel as they go out. And so here's Earth up here, the yellow one, and there's really not a lot of this is kind of normal coronal activity going on right here. Actually, it's probably less dense than what we'd normally see. From outside of the inner solar system, here's Mars, and then here's Venus, and here's Mercury. So that's the inner solar system, right? And then here's where the various satellites are located. Here's stereo B. Stereo A is about ready to get hit by some of this energy. But this is what I wanted to talk about. This is what they're saying is this cosmic wave of energy. Guys, what do you think it is?
Well, you want me to go in with my my direct intel?
Yes, sir.
All right, hold on one second here. My direct intel is telling me, I've got a really good friend of mine, ex-military, 20 years in intelligence, and he's retired now. And whenever this information first broke with that one model, the morph head model that was out there on YouTube.
Mimic, yeah. Mimic.
Yeah. It wasn't, I think it was about maybe 8 to 12 hours later that I got a text message from him to, give him a call. And when I gave him a call, he came right out with it, and he said, listen, he said, for 9 months now, there's been a huge disinformation, misinformation campaign that the powers that be are trying to put together because they don't know what to do. Now, they did know at one point in time that this coronal hole was going to be turning and facing the sun. That actually played into their hands a little bit, because that would be the excuse for the earthquake activity that we're about to go through. And I've been monitoring these earthquakes day in, day out. I mean, literally almost 14, 15, 16 hours a day. And I've been telling everyone that they are steadily increasing with their frequency and the magnitude. And as you can clearly see, that is happening. It's happening all over the world. And just, what was it, last week or the week before, they were having earthquakes in areas that usually don't have earthquakes. They had 2 earthquakes in France. They've had several earthquakes in central Canada. And then I noticed that these earthquakes were literally being taken off the map. Okay? They were disappearing. And then all of the earthquake information along the west coast of Mexico, none of it is appearing. Now, I have a direct link.
Why? Yeah, the coastline of Mexico. You have to get down to almost into Central America. Is Mexico even reporting its earthquakes anymore?
Yes, yes. I have a direct link from my contact down there, and they are sustaining multiple earthquakes all along the west coast of Mexico, all the way up to the border of California, Southern California. The same thing is applying with the west coast of Central America. So literally, these earthquakes are reverberating straight across the Pacific Ocean, and they're hitting the west coast of the United States and Mexico. Now, South America, that's being reported. But what's happening along the west coast of Mexico is not being reported, because we all know that that energy will travel upward along that fault line, and eventually it is going to strike Southern California. And all of these people are not going to be ready. And you know that. You know that.
Yep.
I mean, Southern California is very populated, man, and they're going to let these people hang when something devastating happens.
Totally agree, man.
Okay, so let's, yeah, and here we go. If I could just drive the earthquake map for a minute. Jeez, man. This is a little disconcerting, man. Here are your 4.5 plus in the last 30 days. And you can see that this energy is going to have to go somewhere. It can't just stay in this area. What I'm really surprised about, guys, is that we haven't seen a tsunami yet. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, as soon as they get one of these huge upheavals right outside of any of those South Pacific islands, I'm telling you what, you're going to see a lot of devastation in the South Pacific, and you're probably going to see a lot more action down in New Zealand, and you're probably going to see some action on the northern coast of Australia that is going to be devastating. And we still have a couple of days to go. Today's only the 21st. This coronal hole is supposed to be turning towards us, I think, like dead on around the 25th Christmas Day. So we may have a repeat of the Sumatra incident on December 26th. And, you know, what, 230,000 people lost their lives. That's just not right, man. I don't care which way you slice the pie. Not putting this information out there is just plain wrong. You're playing God.
Well, and if they're confused as to what to do, how about the truth? Why not just tell the truth? I still don't get it, guys. And I know that you know, part of me says that I feel like we're playing to their script, and I hate that. I've always been a rebel to the authorities. I've never been the kind of guy that goes along just because the rules say to go. I always try to find the right thing to do regardless. And I think you guys are the same way.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't compute for us. We're different people, man. Jeff P is different than me, different than you, Scott. You know that. We all are the same in the sense that we don't necessarily buy the official line. I've never done that in my whole life.
Nope.
Yeah, I just don't understand their philosophy on it. I mean, we probably never will. And at this point in time, you know, it really doesn't matter. You know, the information that I have coming in is plain and simple. They literally do not know what to do. Forget about Obama's stupid little space office administration that he opened up, because these idiots, well, they don't know what to do either. You know, so right now we have in this live broadcast 3 very smart and intelligent guys that are literally trying to bring the information to as many people as we can. And yeah, you know, we get slandered and kicked in the teeth by, you know, some people, but I think the majority of people appreciate it, and we're not always going to be right. But listen, right now, right now, I think that we are, you know, after the sunrise that I saw today and the sunset that I just witnessed, these are 2 things that I've never seen in my 48 years of life. They were actually kind of scary. But, you know, the coronal hole is going to be their little mask. But it's not going to last forever, because maybe by the 27th, the 28th, we should be kind of out of the woods.
Here's the coronal hole right here, Scott. If you can see my screen, this is the ejecta of that coronal hole. This is not the coronal hole. This is something completely different here.
Wow.
So Jeff, I know you have some thoughts too. What do you think's going on, man? I mean, do you think that they're trying to? Why would they try to obfuscate this? The passing of a binary star system. I mean, I don't get it still.
Well, for there's a lot of reasons. I think one is logistics. If they really did say, hey, well, everyone, we're gonna have some great earthquakes. You want to get off the coastline, and we even tried to evacuate just California alone into like Nevada and Utah, we wouldn't be able to handle it. We wouldn't be able to. The property values would drop. The thing is like the money machine they got. They don't want us to panic and riot until they're ready for us. They're not following along their timeline. And I think, did I answer your question with the why wouldn't they bother telling us this? So again, just like they've always played in Hollywood, there's not room enough for us in their little ark. They're underground cities. They can only build so much and store so much. And we would, there's more of us than there is of them. So, and I think it all just kind of.
Yeah, I'm coming to get some of that food too. I'm going to get me some of them rations.
Yeah, I got a lot of own personal thoughts on this whole thing, but these people are going to end up losing in the end game anyways.
Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt about it. Now, their whole disinformation campaign with the Magnetar 1806-20, the other cosmic wave explosion, black hole swallowing a star. I mean, these stories were coming out every 24 hours, and they were just not making sense. If a gamma ray burst was coming towards the Earth and it hit the Earth, I mean, they travel so fast. What type of warning are you going to get? What are you actually going? What are you going to do? You're not going to do anything. So, just as my sources were telling me, this was the beginning of the cover-up, and they're scrambling, and they don't know what to do. And they knew this was going to happen. They've been working on this for 9 months. 9 months.
9 months. Well, wonder what happened 9 months ago that gave them a heads up on this wave. It must have came from JPL or NASA, something they saw that this thing is.
Well, that's always been my question. Sorry to interrupt you, Jeff, but that's always been my question, is that when I hear these other YouTube broadcasters talking about it, it was like, where do you get your information? What's the source? Was it the Hubble telescope? Was it the, some type of an instrument? Because the only instrument that's showing it now is this one that I can find.
Didn't NASA launch a gravity thing to monitor gravity of the Earth, but maybe they really are checking out the gravity from this NIBIRU system? Just like they launched the IRA telescope, I think they launched one that detects gravity. Well, I'm not going to call it gravity, it's magnetic pressure. And that's, I think, one question that a lot of YouTubers, when they see our videos, they laugh at us because, there's planets in our solar system, and I do believe it's got to be somewhere in Venus Mars area. Gilbert Sharp even said it's coming between Venus and Mars.
Yeah,
it already came through we know it's, and I think because of the pull of Jupiter, it wouldn't have got much further than Jupiter when it bouncing back and forth the two suns. That one there is kind of a little bit difficult to imagine, but I hear that it goes around Nemesis and it travels around our sun. And at some point it's going to leave the sun eventually and pull back out. And so I think that they had launched something to detect the magnetic field signatures of this thing coming in. I think we're even seeing it in our clouds, like Scotty had seen this tubular cloud that went all the way across the sky. That's just something not normal. And I think that tubular cloud that we're seeing more often are like the pressure boundary zones between Planet X and our Earth.
Yeah.
Well, again, so here we are again, right? And so yesterday we get this information from Scott. Scott's telling us that a lot of this and the wave of energy is really just a cover. So wave of energy, NIBIRU, who cares? What's the difference? I mean, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, if it's going to be a huge magnetic spanking of the ass, it is, and who cares what the source is, right? At some point, you just got to say, who cares? Look at this big, energy plasma wave coming at us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, right now, we're not really feeling a whole lot yet. I mean, the satellites are still up. And we're still communicating. So it definitely is not affecting electronics.
I
can go to SolarHam right now and show you.
Yeah, I actually tell you the truth. I think we're just like, we're not even being buffered by this yet.
That's why I wonder. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, like I said, the way things are going right now, this big coronal hole, this is the beginning of the excuse for possible catastrophic damage. They're going to blame it on the coronal hole. Well, in fact, we know that that large coronal hole facing the Earth, will create earthquakes. They have enough data on it since 2010, since the SDO went up, I think it was. So, this is the beginning of their excuse. But what's going to happen when the coronal hole passes by and we're in the clear? Now, are they going to continue with, okay, this is something, more from the sun? Listen, my sources are telling me straight up, there's going to come a point within, 60 days that you're not going to be able to hide this anymore. You're not going to be able to hide it in no way, shape, or form. You may be able to make excuses, but the world population is not going to buy it.
Yeah. Well, I just want to talk, if this wave was just a wave, now we're at the second one now, right? Doesn't that sound like if it was just a shock wave, then it would be a couple of short ripple waves pass through and we're done with it. But if this thing grows in intensity every time we see the next wave come around, then it's certainly going to look more and more like the gravity effects of NIBIRU is going to come at us like a hurricane. With at first you see occasional waves with higher and higher tides or greater magnitudes until it's so constant it's almost like a steady stream when the eye of the hurricane approaches. So if I do think this isn't going to come and go without any real devastation. It could be more the part of the pure, what do they call it, fear porn, to get us to discredit the rest of us. We don't want to cry wolf, so when it really does come, they're not going to listen to us anymore.
Well, or either that or they'll just turn you off.
Yeah.
That was a signal to all of us when they turned me off. That was just like, hey, look, we can shut you down at any moment. Don't think that we can't. Jeff, you got shut down once.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And how long did it take for you to build your audience back?
Quite a few months, man.
I know, right? So
just kind of trickles in.
Yeah. And Scott, they were telling me to run at Scott, but Scott was such a ferocious fighter that they had to back down because he's the Italian stallion.
Well, I think they may, if we're out there showing the truth so much, they're shutting us off completely is going to look even more the suspicious.
Well, the good news, if you look behind this wave, though, behind this particular energy connection or whatever it is, there's going to be a nice clear eye of the storm right after it. I mean, look at how clear it is from that side of the sun. It almost seems like this electromagnetic wave is pulling energy from the sun, so it's not even like coronal ejecting on this one side of the blue polarity, of the negative.
Interesting. Because I wonder if, the magnetic pull is that, like you said, maybe it's not from the sun, maybe it's been extracted. And I think this whole system again.
I think that's why we're seeing the coronal hole, is because this bad boy is pulling energy out. It's not just coming from one direction. This is a connection. This is a huge connection with something out here.
Yeah.
So it's the sun versus this other object in an electromagnetic tug of war.
Yeah. Well, like I've always said in the galactic universe model, that from another galaxy, the Birkeling currents from the North and South Pole feed this sun. That's this system. And if it loses that current and you've got another circuit in there, basically not even really short circuiting it, but absorbing it like a capacitor.
Right. And so I would expect Mercury, Venus, and Mars, as Mars gets hit, that would be the one where we would really, as it gets hit by this really intense, dense wave here, that will be an interesting thing to see. Look at how these field lines are converging here, and then you got this big, massive blob coming towards it. We'll be able to see what's going to happen to these if they keep the satellite on.
Yeah, wow. That's a pretty intense wave. But again, we see this is the wave that how would they have known this was coming? The fact that it's traveling slow, I mean, it's nowhere near the speed of light, would have just already passed through already. So when do they think this thing's going to finally pass through the Earth?
See, so we don't know if this is accurate or not. That's since I found out that Mimic was basically a computer generated, feedback, which I believe, Scott, is true, because there's no reason for the Earth to have felt a wave of energy from what we can see. But this big blob of energy right now is passing stereo A. Here is what we call the Maven spacecraft. I don't know why they don't have the other planets on here. And then here's the Earth, and this is 1 AU from here to here. So it's basically however long it takes to get from here to here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so right now we're looking at, I'm looking at January.
Oh, okay. Wow. What's that? Is that white line just a time marker?
Oh man, you know what I just noticed?
Yeah.
Look at the dates.
11th.
Yeah, so you gotta be careful on these dates. But here's your date down here. But what is this supposed to mean? That's the only thing I can't figure out on this chart. Everything else I get. But look at how it's coming right at the main north-south field line here on the Earth.
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all. I mean, we're actually moving away from it as it's coming up behind us. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Man, if we could only speed up, I mean, I know that's not possible, but it's going to catch up to us.
I wonder, do they think this has any ties with the CERN Hadron Collider?
Well, I think that they're going to try to divert the wave. That's what I really believe.
Divert? How do you think they would divert it?
By creating whatever polarity you have to create to get that thing, keep that thing from connecting to the Earth.
I mean, that's a lot of energy, bro. I mean, that's.
Well, they also more than our anyway. Hey, listen, guys, I got a split. I really appreciate being on the show with you guys, and I look forward to the link. Scott, I'll get it up as soon as possible. All
righty, me and Jeff, we're gonna go ahead and stay rocking and rolling here. If you get a chance, jump back in.
Yes, sir.
All right, there, buddy. So, Jeff, what do you think there? Some of the information that we were talking about earlier with your calculations and everything. You want to go ahead and go over that, because that was pretty interesting stuff, brother.
The calculations with the Nibiru's gravity field and all that, and the time span.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was. Let's see. I had, as it was orbiting, flying past Saturn, I believe. No, when it flew past Jupiter, is approximately had a velocity of. Let me see if I can pull up these facts here. I had a fact sheet that was a leaked document that I had shown my YouTube subscribers. You can actually find this on the internet, Nibiru final update, and let's see if I can pull up this orbital speeds. Let's see if I can. As this thing was traveling past, I'm looking up this document now. Let's see, outer magnetic fields. Yeah, remember it had a magnetic field strength of 20,000 microteslas. Well, that's pretty powerful. And it was made of pure cesium, and which gamma rays was coming from its poles, because that it could only escape from its intense gravity.
My Lord.
Yeah, crazy, huh? And judging by the moons of the other planets, that's how they'll come up with. I'm not kind of skipping around here. What? It's a lot of scientific talk here. But anyways, it had a approximate 8 AU radius on its magnetic field, and then the diagram that shows this thing looking like a storm coming in. And when this, now we, according to this, if that was anything to do with this, though, I believe NIBIRU to be much closer, because 8 AUs out, if this is the front wave of that, that would put this thing almost 3 years away, because of its forward velocity speed of its maximum measured. I think it said like 28,000 miles an hour. And if you calculate that out, you're going to come out to like something like 3 years. And so if this has any effect, I believe we have to have already been affected by this. So I'm having a hard time pulling up this system. Maybe more specifics we could talk about when this thing came in, like how it tipped Saturn in its orbit.
Yeah, that's when we were talking about that, and the effects of what it had on Jupiter's moons. Those sinkholes. If you have any photographs of them, you want to share them.
Yeah,
that I have to see.
Yeah, these were so the name of that moon. I thought it was Jupiter, but it was actually Saturn's moon. And they said that this thing is the reason why I'm trying to dig up these photographs. Dang it. We got a pool. It's a huge document, man. It's really compelling. I wish you could give you a link to this thing and give it a serious read over. It definitely has the they talk about Voyager 10, and it had this anomaly when it basically got pushed, slowed it down when it got into this orbit, and they call it the Voyager 10 anomaly or something like that. And you can look it up on Wikipedia, and they have some BS excuse why this happened, and then that really got them intrigued to sending out other Voyagers to check this thing out. Let's see. Yeah, well, in one document it says on June 30th, 2011, at 22:06 p.m., Saturn is tilted in the opposite direction and a 90-degree angle away from its normal inclination. The tilt has more than doubled in the space of a month. So they can see the tilting of the Earth, of Saturn, which is real obvious because it has a ring, so you can see the tilt. And then let's see if I can find the moon shots here. When this thing passed close to the moon, they had freshly observed. I'm going to pull up the images from Saturn's moon and showed it having craters on this thing. Dang. Let's see if I can. I just apologize, man. I'm having a hard time finding this one.
Yeah, not a problem. Not a problem. I'm getting barraged by emails right now. Remember the conversation we were having earlier when we were on the phone and the sun was going down? I was taking, because I've never seen these sunsets before where I live. And I never saw a sunrise in Pennsylvania that looked like it did this morning. I mean, the whole entire sky was just a bright pink. I mean, I've never seen this before. It looked like it came from a postcard, and it was kind of startling to see that, because it's wintertime. We're on the winter solstice. We don't see that. And then right at about 4:50 p.m., I just happened to look out of my kitchen window, and once again, it looked like a sunset postcard. And once again, We don't see those types of sunsets here during the wintertime.
Wow.
It just doesn't happen. Now, I just downloaded some of those photographs, and this long tubular cloud just came out of nowhere, and then another one formed on top of it, almost like it was drawn in the sky with a ruler. And then the timing of the sunset just stayed there with this burnt orange horizon, and it looked very, very ominous with this large ripple effect through the sky. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was, I mean, you heard me when we were on the phone. I was a little freaked out by that because,
Yeah.
I've never seen that before where I live. And now my emails are going off the wall with people sending pictures in, because I just looked at a few of them. People are sending photographs in of what they just saw on the East Coast of the United States. But
Yeah, I'd like to see those photographs, man. We could have another conversation just about that. But, I have some theories about these cloud ripples. I know that meteorologists will always have a line for it, and some of it's true. But now, we've been lied to such a degree. You got to literally question everything. So, I find it ominous too that when we see these patterns of these ripple effect, looked ominous, just like the ripples that you would see in an ocean.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm gonna pull these up, and just let me know if you could see these.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
I mean, that was first thing this morning.
Huh.
And I've
Yeah.
never in my life, ever in my life, seen anything like that this early in the morning in the wintertime.
Well, you know what? I found something interesting because you may start seeing, do you get fog in your area?
Well, there is a river not too far from us, but it's kind of down in a valley. That area down in that valley, they do get cloud cover or fog. And then down in the city of Pittsburgh, they got three rivers converging, or two rivers converging into the Ohio, right in the center of downtown Pittsburgh. Now, they do get a lot of, fog that rolls in late at night, early in the morning. But I definitely have to, where's this other picture? Because there was another one in there. Here is the photograph of the sunset. Now, look at the tubular cloud. Do you see that?
Uh-huh.
What in
Actually,
the
look
hell?
like two of them. Look like a giant V formation.
Yeah, there was another one.
There was about.
Yeah, there was another one
That
coming
is just
from.
not normal.
No, and I mean, I was trying to get some photographs of it about 3 to 5 minutes later, because another long tubular cloud formed right over top of it in a perfect straight line with a gap between the two. I mean, it looked insane. And then, I mean, you could see the burnt sky, and these were not chemtrails, because they chemtrail the living hell out of us this entire summer, all through the fall. And because of our weather patterns as of the last 10 days, we really haven't seen the sun in 2 weeks. Now, our weather got real freaky a couple of days ago. We were at a low of 17, and then within a matter of, oh my God, I would say about 2 hours, the temperature literally went up to 44 degrees.
Huh.
And we had snow on the ground, and it literally all melted. And then the flooding, there was some flooding in the downtown Pittsburgh area, and it was a little crazy that you could just walk outside and, have a thin long sleeve shirt on and you're good to go. And then the weather turned again. But today was about 38 degrees, but it didn't last. But that was the burning sunset. And again, we don't have these types of sunsets where I live in the wintertime. It just doesn't happen. I mean, I'm going to zoom in to the burnt sky. I mean, just look at that. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to get thousands of emails on what people saw in the sky.
Oh, I found those pictures of those sinkholes. You want to see them?
Yeah, I'll go ahead over here and I'll stop my screen share.
This is,
and it's all yours.
Okay, so let's see, entire screen. Here we go. Now, you see that?
Yep.
So in this, let's see what page of this document it was on. It's like a 117-page document. Anyways, it says here on October 2009, NASA Spitzer Space Telescope had spotted a massive, nearly invisible ring around Saturn. Actually, let me skip to this next okay, left. I hope I'm spelling this. I'm going to call it enchiladas. No, I'm kidding.
Enchiladas.
Okay,
it's pretty close.
Grammar Nazis out there. Anyways, a moon of Saturn shoots out a single jet. Look at this. Of water and ice, dust and gas from a huge crack on its surface. Picture taken on December 2010. The giant crack first appeared in October 2008 on this here, which in that same period, large sinkholes also appeared on planet
Enceladus.
Encelada's surface. Elenin was also closest to the Saturn at this time as it approached on its way to the inner solar system. It says the object is having the same effect on Earth as it nears us, causing huge sinkholes and cracks. And we had some more very fascinating document here. It really jives everything. Oh, and by the way, this is 2016. That there in this document that they said Comet Elenin just happens to be. Oh, I know. Remember that number I said the gravitational force was 8 AU radius?
Yes.
Well, that's exact. Well, that's roughly 744 million miles out. Well, that is exactly the orbit or the distance Comet Elenin was. Remember Elenin? They thought it was an extinction level event. Remember that? It was 2012.
Yep, absolutely.
And that's saying that this was in that orbit. It's actually orbiting Nibiru, according to this document.
Oh my Lord.
So this thing, we saw Elenin first, and then we saw this 4 years later. Here it is, 2016.
Oh my. Man, the size of that hole in that thing must be massive.
Yeah. The giant cracks. So cracks and crevices, this thing's cracking and breaking, man. And it had let's see if I can pull up
now that's one of the moons of Saturn.
Yes. That was one of the moons of Saturn's. And we get in this document. Now, this is a description of this wave coming in. And I believe, and you can see these waves here. See this break here? This is, they're comparing this. Okay, this is a hurricane. Okay. But this saying that this gravity field would look like this when it actually comes in. These waves, these just bands of energy.
Bands, yeah. I got a lot of experience with hurricanes. You know, I lived in South Florida for 22 years. I've been through 13 major hurricanes. And yeah, that looks exactly like a freaking hurricane.
Yeah. Well, this thing's spinning freaking intense ball of energy, giving off its gases. And if it's magnetically charged like it says it is, you know, that's why I think it's got its iron oxide atmosphere that's being magnetically held to its surface.
Now, how far, I mean, I know this is probably an impossible question. I've put this question to a few brainiacs, and, you know, they absolutely had no idea. But what do you think the distance of those bands stretch out and reach?
Oh,
like, you know, maybe 50 million miles, you know, 100 million miles, because I did get,
you know, I think you're right. Those would be in the millions of miles.
Yeah, I did get one
because
legitimate answer, and the legitimate answer was that it is highly probable that the most outer bands can reach up to 150 million miles. The outer bands.
Oh,
which
even
would,
further than that.
Yeah, which would be, which would be the weakest of the bands. I thought the same thing. I thought that was a very low ball figure. Actually, to tell you the truth, the information was 157 million miles to be precise. Right. And I did think that was a little low ball.
Well, they're calculating this based upon other planets too. They look at the Jupiter and the size of its moon and its distance and what kind of moons it can hold. I mean, at what distances. And this thing is far beyond the gravity of Jupiter. I think it was like 46 times.
My God.
Well, Jupiter is a gas giant. Here we go. 8 AU from its center. So if these bands of energy are probably more broken up than this, they wouldn't be all clustered like this. I think it'd be more of a band.
Yeah, it'd be like a giant pinwheel.
Yeah. The other thing is, as it spins, it's spinning against the rotation of our Earth, and it will stop it.
There's no doubt in my mind.
It'll be like magnetic brakes when this thing hits. It's also like magnetic energy. It's going to have the lopsided energy band, like here, and on the right side. I mean, the left side. It's the weaker side. So it may be this band as it goes around and around, and it made a full rotation and slammed us again.
Yeah, now there was, while we're on the subject of these bands of energy, and I'm just going to call this is like a freaking space cyclone. And there's a lot of information that I haven't legitimately put out, onto my YouTube channel because, it's so far out there and a little bit unbelievable. It's bad enough trying to get people to understand the type of threat that we are under. And you take a YouTube channel that's putting together videos of information, and you have so many people out there trying to discredit you that it's hard for people to believe. And now, people are in that, okay, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, here's the deal. Whenever you see it, it's going to be too late. And that's the problem. Now,
yeah, go ahead.
The information that I got about this massive cyclone of energy and the reach is, just imagine, and this is the way it was put to me, just imagine this planet, this system coming through our solar system, and all of the years as it approached, imagine what it sucked in. So this may be the reason why we are seeing so many anomalies, planetary anomalies, things that we can't explain in the skies. And I've never put this out there, but this is the direct information that I got from my source, is that this thing is like a massive stellar vacuum cleaner. So the last time it came through, we don't know what it brought in because we weren't here. But now we are here, and we are seeing things in the sky. Me and you both saw what we captured on Bondi Beach in Australia. I mean, that planet was captured in the early summer by a subscriber of mine from Switzerland that took perfect telescopic photographs of that planet. And I've never heard from her again. I've never heard from any more of my Swiss subscribers. They just, almost like it seems like all of Europe, as far as the subscribers, have kind of almost disappeared. I kind of think, are they being censored? The information's not getting to them. I don't know. I had a lot of German subscribers that were sending me a lot of really detailed information. Very, very smart people, not your everyday run-of-the-mill, guy that's a construction worker. These were very educated people, and I don't know what happened to them. You know, and I
Yeah.
try to convey to everybody, you know, we don't know for sure what is being swept into our solar system, into the path of Earth. And the other point that was brought up to me and that we all know about is that, yes, you know, this whole system had to come through the Kuiper belt, the asteroid belt, and blah, blah, blah. And it's going to, you know, be like playing billiards. It's going to start smacking into things and sending things, you know, into the Earth's path.
Yeah.
Well, we've already seen that. I just got a video a few days ago from a subscriber in Bordeaux, France, that literally saw this massive burning object coming directly straight down. It is almost similar to the footage that Dave Dobbs has. And we're still waiting to hear back from him because it almost
Yeah.
coincides with his timeline model of a
Yeah.
flyby in late December. And he said
Well,
it could be early or it could be late.
yep. Well, on one of those videos, you could actually see that he uploaded there, a subscriber had found, and you could actually see it, what appeared to actually kind of punch through the cloud. And he even commented saying, why is not this object crashing to the earth? And he goes, it's a force we don't even know.
Yeah.
Well, I think I know what that force was, because, you know, those objects from Dave Dobb channel, you know, they're too slow to be a meteorite.
Oh yeah,
Way
that's what
too
everybody
slow.
said when I
Okay.
showed the Bordeaux, France footage. That's what everybody said. It wasn't space junk either because I checked for 3 days.
Right. And it
No space
left. So what could possibly have something nearly into our atmosphere? Some of the videos had fire and some of them had clouds. Well, that sounds like the fire. It's burning up in our ionosphere, just like meteors do, or asteroids and everything else. And then once it reaches the lower atmosphere, then it's going to condensate and form those clouds with smoke. But that pulled back out. But again, I had to say this, that we don't know what this force is, but what's keeping it from crashing? I believe it's the magnetic pull and its insane spin, because when you've got a round ball object caught between magnetic forces, it's like a gear spinning caught between the two, or Nibiru or any other planet.
Yeah. Yeah, and I could only imagine, you know, what it has, you know, orbiting around it or stuck in its force, in its energy, you know, and
Right.
it's a high possibility that some of these other planetary objects that we're seeing that we do catch a glimpse of from time to time, either in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere. You know, I mean, people ask all the time, why can't I see it in New York? Why can't I see it in New Zealand? Well,
Right.
eventually you do get your turn because it makes its way around. And, you know,
Yeah.
we had a lot of sightings coming out of Australia and New Zealand. And I
Oh.
started getting some emails from people in the islands, which was very, you know, kind of rare. But you know, I have that footage if you want to see it, the one from Bordeaux, France, and you give me your opinion on it. I
Sure.
could pull it up and show it to you. It's whew. Let me grab it real quick here.
You know what you do is you got all these photos and people want you checking out their photos and videos, and we kind of like give them our opinion on it, because how many times I don't have the time to go through everybody's photos and give my opinion on it. I'm a very busy person. Oh, look at that. I think I know this little video, huh?
Are you seeing this?
Yeah. Check that out. Yeah, that looks like some of the Dave Dobbs stuff I've seen. And notice how it does appear to have a spin to it.
Look how slow.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's being dragged through our atmosphere and then goes back out again. Only something that could orbit something has another orbit. It's got an apparent orbiting body. And I heard there's another one behind it. Have you seen where it's got a a twin at a higher orbit. Wow.
You know, I
want to
mean,
see that
that's
thing
just,
finally leave, because it does leave, because that thing did not hit.
yeah. Well, the thing about it is there is the Bay of Biscay, or I think it's called the Bay of Biscay, that is not too far from Bordeaux, France. So, okay, and Bordeaux, not too far off the coast. It's the Atlantic Ocean. So we would have had a report of space junk, quote, crashing into the damn ocean.
Right.
Okay, and I checked for days,
Huh.
and nothing. And that footage, and I looked at the young lady in Indiana, Becky Lewis.
Yeah.
I looked at her footage from a year and a half ago, or I think it was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was like in Carolina or somewhere.
I think it was Indiana. I think she lives in
Oh
Indiana.
yeah, Indiana. Yeah, twice she caught it.
And I think it was around December 15th, somewhere in December.
You know what? That's funny, because that was December 20th. That 5 days later, I had that Nemesis or Helion video.
Yeah. So I mean, the timelines that Dave put together, and I've had some very lengthy conversations with Gil Broussard. We actually, me and my team, we did a 4.5 hour interview with Gil on a Google Hangout. And it was, to me, I've seen every one of Gil's interviews, and the interview that we had with him was the best that I ever saw. However, the video, somehow, when it was being recorded on the Google Hangout, it got corrupted. And it only recorded the first 27 minutes, and that 27 minutes, the audio was completely destroyed. And Gil, I was able to ask him some very specific questions, like nobody does. And I asked him some very specific questions, and he answered them. And we talked about what would be coming out of the southwest part of the sky. And no sooner, a few days later, we started seeing this object coming out of the southwest part of the sky. Now, I was getting barraged by emails from all over the world, mainly the Northern Hemisphere. I even had one guy from Italy, Enrico, sent me a couple of videos when he was at work in the evening, and he could clearly see this object coming in. And we've all matched it up using the Sky Map application on cell phones and things of that nature and star charts, and it's not Venus.
Right.
It's not Venus, because it was coming out of the sky so high that it could not be Venus, because I checked on the path of Venus, where it would be on that specific day at that specific time where I'm standing. I found a website, gives all of that information, and it's not Venus. And I've had a few people with very good telescopes take some footage of this. And I just got another one in from one of my subscribers. Her name is Regina. By the way, Regina, if you're listening, if you listen to this, thank you very much. She just sent me a video, which I'm going to go ahead and share with you, because this is absolutely, this is just, this is just absolutely amazing. Let me go ahead and find this, because she just sent it in to me today. And let me go ahead and find it, because it was, did I put it in this file? It was absolutely amazing. Where did I put that? I got so many files. Yeah. Where is it? Regina. And it totally blew my mind. Here it is. You able to see that?
Wow. What kind of a
You know, at
picture is
first,
that, anyways, man? Is that a telescope we're looking through, that cell, or?
I think she has it attached to a telescope and video, possibly into a laptop on a tripod. Zoomed in 75 times, I think she said in her email.
I'm just wondering, is that if that a lens that we're looking through, or is that just whole thing looks like it's rotating too? Do you see that?
Yeah, now I've seen. No, she did say that that was probably the effect of the lens, and I've seen stars, kind of similar to what we're looking at here, but where the part of the sky that she was looking into, okay, this object should not be there
At that speed either. Oh, sorry, Venus doesn't move that fast.
Yeah, and I have telescopic photographs of Venus. I had one of my subscribers. I asked him. He has a high power telescope. He loves astronomy. He knows where things are. And I asked him. I said, "Hey, man, any chance you getting me some telescopic photographs of Venus and send them to me? I want to use them for comparison." Yeah, no problem. Opened up my email the next day, 32 photographs. So, the bottom line is there are things in our sky that,
Yeah,
we're not supposed to be seeing, but we are, and when we show these pictures, some of the naysayers are like, oh, this and that, oh, blah, 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 but the bottom line is, with a little bit of technology, like that sky map application for your cell phone, I have found that thing is dead on. I could point it to the sky. It shows me exactly where everything is. So if I'm pointing that to the sky and I see Venus off to the right, but this other object is way off to the left and much, much higher than Venus, but it's not on the sky map.
Yeah.
What is it? I have one subscriber, ex-military. We became very good friends. He tracks satellites for a hobby in space. He has some equipment. He knows what he's doing. He tracks satellites. And I asked him,
okay.
I asked him, I'm like, well, what are the possibilities? Maybe we're seeing some, maybe satellites or something. No, absolutely not. And then, then I get the compelling, video footage and photographs from subscribers, literally all over the world. I actually just got 2 photographs in from Ho Chi Minh City. Beautiful high definition photographs taken the other day, right in the city of the skyline, the beautiful buildings, and literally 2 massive sun light sources on each end of the sky. So is the sun reflecting, within the clouds? Yeah, it is a possibility. Is it reflecting that far between? I don't think so.
No.
I lived in South Florida. I've seen many, many, many sunsets that were kind of crazy looking, but I have never in my life till this year seen these double illuminated sunsets that are so far off that it's kind of impossible for the sun to be in 2 places at one time in a photograph or even some video, and it's just, I just wish more people would wake up and listen. I know the subscribers to my channel. I'm almost at like 40,000 subscribers, and these are great people, man. And they are literally looking up. Yeah, a lot of them send pictures in that, yeah, there's nothing in them, or there's some lens flares, some camera anomalies. We pick them out. They know it's going to happen. But man, let me tell you, these people are capturing some really, really amazing things.
I've seen some more people like following my links to the videos that I'm to the cameras, and I had one subscriber. See if I can find his channel, but he actually caught the moonlight lit up the planet when the moon was setting.
Yes.
Did you see that one?
Yes, yes. I've been, listen, the few subscribers that I did have in Switzerland, the one lady was an avid amateur astronomer, and she lived in a beautiful mountainous region, similar to what we see on the Action Sports internet site where we were capturing a lot of things. And she kind of lives on a mountainside with a beautiful view between two mountains. And she lives in a little bit of a lower plateau area. And listen, the photographs are buried in my computer, but she captured this striped planet off in the distance behind the moon during a full moon in the early summer in June. And
Wow.
I mean, when she sent me the photographs, I was a little thrown back. And she's like, "Are you going to use these?" And I said, "Well, yes, I'd love to show the world these photographs." And she's like, "Oh, well, okay, don't put my name in there." And it seems that the people in Europe are a little more afraid of divulging their information than the people here in the United States. That's just what I'm seeing, and I'm starting to get a lot of people from Mexico that are seeing things, and they're catching on to my channel.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of time, before somebody catches something really, really, really fantastic. Now, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go ahead and share this
All right.
real quick.
I'm gonna have to go after this, but tomorrow we can do this. I'll have a lot more time tomorrow too, so I'm gonna have to go after this. Okay, buddy.
Yep, absolutely. The one photograph that the guy sent me that I did the video on, the trolls were saying that it was fireworks.
Fireworks.
Yeah, they said it was fireworks, and they sent me the photograph. Where is it? And when I saw their stupid comments, I just about, where is it?
I'm always amazed that that they invent new stuff, man, that I try and anticipate what their next joke freaking excuse is.
Well, they actually went ahead and uploaded a screenshot from my video to a blog, and then they were trying to copy and paste the link to the blog, and they were saying that they sent me the photograph to fake me out, and that they were the guy. His name was Anthony. Where did I put that photograph? God Almighty! It's in my. I think it's in the screenshots here. Oops, that's the blurry one. But I had zoomed in on this, and tell you what. Let me get to the one's a little smaller. Look like a firework.
Man, where do they come up with that? I mean, they just like grabbing at straws now.
I mean, I blew the photograph up, and he said that he was taking a lot of photographs just randomly at the nighttime sky. And we went back inside, downloaded the photographs to his computer, and started going through them. And, lo and behold, he captured this. And, I mean, a firework? I don't know, dude. I love fireworks.
Some of the explosion from, we've seen fireworks.
I've never.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep.
No smoke, no jet trail, no. It's not exploding.
Yeah, it was one of those Roman candles,
Right.
But listen, everybody who's watching this video, me and Jeff P. and Steve Olson, we are going to start collaborating as much as we possibly can. We're going to continue to try to do these live broadcasts, and this video will be on Jeff's channel, it will be on Steve's channel, and it will be also on the NIBIRU Planet X 2016 channel. And you can go back and you can watch it. You know, drop Jeff some emails. You can send me the emails. You can send them to Steve. And listen, bottom line is we're going to try to get to the truth one way or another. We're going to keep digging and digging and digging. And as the information comes in, you know, I have a lot more time to report on it than Jeff does and Steve, but we're going to keep on it. Any last words, Jeff?
No, I just want to say thank you very much for all subscribers who subscribe and listen to us. And I am highly interested in cloud abnormalities that you may find. So, and if you do send us pictures, I appreciate not zipping them, because I don't have time to be in front of a laptop most of the time, and my cell phone can't unzip it. That's the spare time that I have to review a lot of these photos.
Yeah, don't zip your files.
Yeah, don't zip it, please. Just send it raw, man. I could browse them through the phone real quick. And again, cloud, anything with ripples and just something really strange. I want to see the evidences of this incoming magnetic wave. I think we're going to see it reflected on clouds. Oh, that's it.
Yeah, that's a possibility, buddy. And listen, you have a great evening, and touch base with me whenever you get a chance. If you're off tomorrow, maybe we could get together and throw out some more of this information and evidence.
Yeah, I think we should review some photos type of thing, because some people always want to have their photos reviewed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
like
I literally,
analysis, you know.
Yeah, right now I literally have 3,600 emails in my inbox that I've not gotten to. And my emails are going off the chart right now because of, I think, what people saw in the sky as the sun went down.
Yeah.
So,
well, again,
I
also like to say I'm really sorry for. I am so busy. I don't have the time to even say thank you for all your kind comments that you send to me on my channel. So thanks again. If I hadn't said it formally, just incredibly busy, especially this time of year, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
All right, you got it, Jeff. Take care.
Okay, bye.